Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday meeting. Um, Today we will be going over a few pairs. Let's see what I stuck in here. I didn't get through all the pairs. So if there's something that you don't see on the list, um, darn it. If there's something you don't see on the list, let me know and we can go over it. All right. All right. First on the list was AUD CAD. For AUD CAD, last week there was a bearish order block. Price pulled back to um, a demand zone area. I mean, a supply zone area. Um, and then sold down. We have this uh, break of, remove some of this. Let me remove some of this. So, a minute, let me go back to the weekly. So, looking at structure, we currently had this bullish structure here. So, we were looking for price to sell back down, which I think is happening right now, to then continue possibly buying back up to these highs. um, so now let's go down to the daily. We had some form of shift. We had an impulsive move to the downside. Price has been consolidating for 1, 2, 3, 4 for all last week. So if that was our shift or break of structure, or however you want to call it, we had price to sweep the low, but not close below the low. So let's go down to um, the 4 hour. 4 hour still appears to be of course, appears to be consolidating. We're still in this 4 hour bearish structure here. So I don't know why I put this one on the list, other than price could pull back to this 4 hour supply zone and then continue selling down to to this POI. So that's kind of what I see for AUD CAD. Still need to cover the high, this high, and and then sell down to here. Any questions on AUD CAD? Nope. Okay. Going to AUD JPY. So for AUD JPY, we had this break of structure. We had this swing high. Prices pull back. So we pull back to the 88 and got a rejection. So let's go down to the daily. Based on the daily structure, this was the last daily structure. Price has swept this low here. Um, but Okay, so on the 4 hour, it closed. On the daily, it swept. So price has closed below this structure, and we're still in this bearish 4 hour bearish structure. So price is either going to pull back to this zone here to sell down, but what I think it's going to do is it might come back and then push back up into this area here before selling. I think it's going to come back to this zone and then start selling. That's my thought process for, let's see. There is some supply structure in here too. Um, so yeah, that's my thought process for AUDJPY. That either price is going to pull here and keep selling or come here, pull back, buy up, and then sell. All right. Any questions on AUDJPY?
Nah,
Oh, you trading that? Well, so let's see the daily. So we have this daily.
what did you trade last week?
We trade, huh?
What did you trade last week?
Um, well, I traded gold last week. That was the only thing I traded. And that was on Friday.
Oh, you got in that sale then, huh?
I had a busy, well, no, I bought up did the buy up on from 4,200 last week. I mean on
Okay.
Friday. Yeah, it was 40 something, 40 something, almost 4,200. So yeah, yeah, I was kind of busy last week, so um let's see. AUD USD. Let's look at the weekly. We have this current structure here, weekly structure here. This is our swing low, this is our swing high. Um, let's go down to the daily. Price hasn't pulled back into, for if you trade imbalance, it has pulled back to the imbalance. Um, if you trade supply and demand, price has pulled back to the demand zone or has not pulled back to the demand zone. And we've been consolidating for um, the week. This is my internal swing high here. So price would need to break above here before considering a buy. Um, but I think there was a 1 hour. I think the sell might happen. So I think it's probably going to sell down. Go to the 15. Yeah, I think it's probably going to sell down um, back to this demand zone before buying up. This is looking like a strong level of, or I won't say strong because it's 1 hour, but and if it does buy up some more, I would look for it to come here and then sell. Like I said, it would have to break this high first, but this is the bearish structure, um, the last bearish structure here. So it's still within that structure. So I would continue looking for a sell. All right, Cash Chef. Cash Chef. Last week there was a weekly bearish order block. This is the order block here. So, and then there's nothing to the left to see any price action to the left. So, based off last week, this is the bearish order block. Let's go down to the daily. You have a daily supply here. 4 hour supply. Um, and we can see that price is pushing up into bearish structure. Excuse me. We can see that price is pulling up into bearish structure. So price could push up, pull back. I think if it pulls back, depending on what happens at the next 4 hour candle, either you're going to get your fair value gap or price could pull back, maybe possibly give a double bottom of some sort if you trade patterns. But if it if the next 4 hour candle gives this fair value gap, and if you trade fair value gap, then you'll be looking for price to pull back into that gap and then continue buying to the upside. Um, Now I'm not gonna say that it's not a lot of pips, but I mean 60 pips can do a little something. 70 pips could do a little something something. All right. So that's what I see currently for Cash Chef. CAD JPY, I think is doing the same thing as the rest of the JPYs. Um, you currently are in this bullish, internal bullish structure. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me see something. I forgot on the daily. This was the low. This was a broken. I think on the 4 hour there's a break here. But on the daily, you have a sweep of these lows. So my thought is price is probably buying up to back up to these highs. Um, if I look at the daily structure, this was the breakup structure. So that's making this first it was this breakup structure, price pulled back to that demand zone. Now you have this breakup structure. So you're looking, I would be looking for price to pull back to this demand zone. So it has tapped into this this gap and has rejected. I would want to see price pull back to here for a buy. Um, but price has pulled back to a discounted area, right? So if we fib the move from this low to this high, price has pulled back to it pulled back to the 78. I mean, it don't get no clearer than that. Okay. However, we're still in this 4 hour bear structure. So with that being said, price could tap into this structure here to come back and sell, or it's going to break this high, pull back, and then continue buying. Let me move this over here. All right. Any questions on CAD JPY? But of course, if it's going to respect the 4-hour structure, you'll wait for price to pull into this zone and look for a shift of structure. So we have this push here. We currently have this push here. This could pull back and then create some more structure in here and then shift. So if a shift happens before breaking this swing high, then I would be looking for the cells back down to this low or even further. This will be definitely be TP1. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yes, that's what I would look for CAD JPY. All right. Um, wait a minute. How did I get the Dixie in here? Uh, EuroCAD. Let's look at the weekly. Let's look at overall structure. Higher time frame structure is telling us that price broke here. This is our swing high. Price has pulled back to the 78 of that structure, right? And rejected. So let's go down and look at how structure is right now. Okay. So this was a break of structure. This is our swing low, and this is our swing high. We have a daily bearish order block, swept the high. So I would be looking for price to pull back into this zone to sell. There's a demand zone here to sell here or somewhere back into this structure. For me, I think this is probably somewhere between the 50% 618. Mm-hmm. So price could tap the 618. Um, let's go down in structure. Let's see if there's any other demand zone that needs to be mitigated. So as of right now, this is the zone that price could pull back to the 618. Let's see. That's about 100 pips. And I'm just going to take it here. Now there is some lower time frame demand zones, so price could continue selling back down to this zone, but um I would definitely be looking for price to pull back and then sell at least to 1.62648 for EuroCAD. All right, Euro GBP. Um, I don't know how this got in there. I don't know how. I think this is a copy. Kai, did you put this in my chart? Yeah, I don't like this one. So we're gonna skip this. let me see, it's giving weekly. It didn't break previous week low or previous week high. So definitely this is going in the trash. Trash. It's in internal structure, maybe. Maybe that's what it's doing. We have this internal structure here. So yeah, trash. It tapped into this demand zone. Yeah, never mind. Moving on. All right. Weekly. Um, EJ, let's see. We had a break of this high. We had this structure. And then we have this last structure. Right. Let's go to the daily. Based on the daily, price is pulling back to um, possibly fill in this gap. Mm-hmm. All right. So for EJ, if it's gonna keep selling, we had this break of structure here. We have this swing high here and this swing low. All right. So price looks like it could be buying back up into um if you trade imbalances, you have that imbalance there. Um I would be looking for price to pull back into here. We're in this internal bearish structure. So I would look for price to pull back into this zone to continue possibly selling. Oh yeah, 20 pips to continue selling. If you want to take it to the low, that's 100 pips. But that is what I see for Euro JPY. If you want to hold it, I would say, or take it to this. It's a little 110 pips. Maybe you can hold it for 120 pips, and then you'll probably get a pullback for a continuation of a sell. But I would definitely take it to this low. This is what I would be looking for next week. Euro JPY. Any questions? Um, GBP Chef. We had um on a previous call, we talked about this current structure here, price shifting structure, price pulled back, price created this level of resistance. We had a weekly sweep, and then we had price to, and then we had a daily sweep. There was this liquidity. I think we talked about on the last call, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So price swept this liquidity, tapped into there was it a 4 hour or 1 hour? Or maybe I just marked up the wicks. I think I just marked up the wicks. It might be on the 15 minute. So now that price has swept this low, We currently have a shift in structure here. Oh, you can't see it. Okay. We have a market structure shift. So I would be, and this is let me move it so y'all can see it. This is the demand zone here on the 1 hour. So I would be looking for price to pull back into this zone here. You can cover this low here, or I just covered the protected low, but I think you can take this up to, I took it up to this high, but of course, if you're um, day trading, you can take it up to this high for 143 pips. If you want to swing it, you can take it up to this high here for 190 pips, or you can wait and take it up to this high for 322 pips. This is the last internal swing high here. So you can definitely take it there for 145. Any questions? GJ. Um, for GJ, we were looking for price to pull into this supply zone. Price tapped and has rejected, but it hasn't shifted any structure as of yet. So, based on the daily, this is our last um, daily oops, our last daily structure. This is the swing low here. And this is our swing high here. So we, like the other JPYs, they're pulling back into a gap. So they're either going to close the gap and then continue buying, or um, take out the low, close below the low. You look for a pullback to then continue selling. But currently is in bullish structure. So buy until you can't buy no more. I saw somebody post a question. All right. NZD USD. Looking at the weekly, higher time frame structure is here. So I would want to see price pull back somewhere to this demand zone. Um, the current bearish structure that we're in right now is here, right? That's the high. This is the low. And price is selling down to this swing low. Um, so with that being said, you're in this current internal structure here. Oops. We're in this internal bearish structure here. And I'm going to go down in time frame so you can see it. That's a swing high, and this is the current swing low. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Let me see what the daily gave. Okay. Yep. So based on the daily, we're in this daily structure. This breakup structure here, and then this swing high here. All right. So 4 hour is giving a shift in structure. Or well, it hasn't shifted yet. It wicked it. But price is not closed above that yet on the 4 hour. So it did on the 1 hour. It pulled back into this demand zone, but it's not breaking a high. It's not breaking the high. So my guess is we're because we're in this structure, the 4 hour did not close above, but the 1 hour did. So you have to figure out which way it's moving, wait for it to either break this high or wait for it to break this low. But looking at it, it's looking like it is probably going to continue selling. So I would need to see price break this low, which is our swing low here, right here. Break this low, pull back, and then start selling. And again, we're looking for price to sell. I'm just going to put this right here for now. I think there was when I looked earlier, I think there was a little gap in there. Yeah, there was. Um, so I would be looking for price to sell down to this zone here before before pulling back and then possibly selling again. And that's so let's just see if it pushed back up here. That's like 300 pips. And then I would look for another sale. All right. NZD USD. Any questions? All righty. For USD Chef, we're in an area of interest. We had a weekly sweep of this low. So I would be looking for buys back up to this high. But I think we were still in some internal. Okay. Okay. So it did shift structure. Oh, it did pull back. Um, it shifted structure here, internal structure. So I'm going to take that out. And then pulled back to, was it a 4 hour demand zone or a 1 hour demand zone? It was a 1 hour demand zone. So it pulled back to the 1 hour demand zone and is out. So if you are trying or would like to get into USD Chef, let me remove that. I would definitely set a limit at this demand zone here. Cover this low, 28, rounded up to 30 pips. And then take it up to um, at least this high. It's 175 pips. That's USD chef. Let me see something. Okay, so the Dixie is going bullish for now. Okay, yeah. So I'm just looking at the Dixie. We're in bullish structure. So price has pulled back to a discounted area, pull back into a fair value gap. And I think it's going to push back up, either back up to these highs or back up to this demand zone to either sell or keep buying back up to here. So if the dollar is buying, you USD Chef is likely going to start buying. And like I said, this was 175 pips. It could go up even further because this was the internal swing high. But as of right now, this is where I would take it. Because you never know what the dollar's going to do. All right. UJ. Um, UJ. Let's see something. All right. We have a strong level of support and resistance there. Price is currently at that level. Um, Price has shifted this structure here. This was the last structure here, and then price shifted structure. Okay, price pulled back into that supply zone and then started shifting structure again. This is the last structure. Price shifted that structure. Price is currently at this level of resistance. So I would be expecting price to sell. Now, with that being said, we currently have this internal break of structure here. Let's go down to the daily. That's right here. We have this internal break of structure here. We also have this little structure here. Again, with the JPYs, um, price has pulled back to shift it back to this zone here, which is your imbalance. I don't trade imbalances, but I would be looking for price. I would want price to pull back into this zone to then start buying. However, I think it has pulled back to a discounted area. Anything 50%, 618, 78, 88 is the discounted area. It has pulled back to the 50%. It gave a rejection. Let's see what the 4 hour is doing. 4 hour is pulling back into this 4 hour bearish structure. So price could push into here and either continue selling back to the downside or shift this structure right here, this internal structure, pull back, and then start buying. Any questions? I think somebody added GU. GBP USD. Oops. GBP USD. Um, is consolidating. So I would definitely wait for price to show you what it wants to do. There was a little shift in structure here, and then price pulled back to um, there was this shift in structure here, which made this the swing high and this the swing low. And I think somebody who is in the class know that this is now the middle. So if we're looking at internal structure, we have a break of this low. So this is our internal high. So, and price, I would be looking for price to pull into this zone to possibly continue selling or to break this internal high. Actually, we had this internal structure shift because price closed below this low. Price closed below that low. Um, or did it? Or maybe not. I needed, I need exact, it did. Okay. So price closed below that low. This was the internal swing. Price closed above that zone. So I would be looking for price to pull back into this demand zone. And I would definitely, it did, this pulled back into, oh no, it didn't pull back quite yet. I would want to see price. It pulled back into an imbalance. You trade imbalances, it pulled back into an imbalance. Um, and then if you look at the 1 hour structure, there was a break and then there was a shift. So, because we had a break and a shift, I would then be looking for price to pull back into the zone for a sell. With that being said, that is not my internal. This look like liquidity right here, these equal highs. So you have to remember to cover your swing high, your zone. You have to cover your zone. And then look for a sell back down to that demand zone. So that's what I would like to see for GU. Any other questions? Whew, I did that in under an hour. Um, I think Will asked somebody asked about gold. I think it was Will. Um, we know gold is at an all-time high. I did mention that I bought gold from um, No, it was from here. From this zone here. Um, do, do, do. Once price wicked and showed me it was going back above. Once price wicked up here, I got in to go from here to this. I got out right here. So next week, because this is our current internal swing high. This was the break of structure. This is the swing low. So next week, I would need to see price break this high. And again, if you trade imbalances, you have this internal break here. You have this fair value gap here. I think a trait of gold is it trades likes to trade imbalances. So um, you can look for a price to pull back into that zone to possibly keep buying.
Kim, did you do GA?
Mm, nope.
Hold on, Kim, before you move.
Okay.
So you said you got your breaking structure on the first one?
Not yet. It
No,
was
no, no. Come
the
down. Come
huh?
down. Come
Uh-huh.
down. That one. The middle one. Go up.
Go up.
That one, right?
No, this was just my when price gave me this bullish order block up back above the zone.
Hmm.
I got in at this demand zone.
Right. What did you call that line though?
You said, what do I call this?
Hmm.
Just the demand zone.
Oh, you called that. Okay, I thought you called that the breaking structure. That
No,
line.
no, 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 no. This was right here. This high is, this is the structure, right? This is 15-minute structure right here.
Okay, then don't worry about what I was about to say. Don't worry about it. I thought you called that the breaking structure.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I just said once price gave me this bullish order block and left a fair value gap, I marked up this demand zone to get into this buy up,
Okay.
up to this high. I mean up to this high.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. And then I want to say it was like a 5-minute demand zone. Yeah, it was. So I got out right here. Hmm. I mean supply zone. I said supply. 5-minute supply zone where I got out. Um, but now that it now has internal structure. So this you have this internal break of structure, right? Because price broke this high, this internal high. You're looking for a pullback, at least to this high. Now, it could just keep going. Y'all know how gold do. It could just keep going. So, my whole purpose in saying that was that if you're going to get in gold, if it's going to keep going, the time to get in would be somewhere up in here. And you would look for the fair value gap. I'm looking for the last down candles. And because this one has already been mitigated, these are the last two down candles before this up move. So this is where I would be looking to for price to pull back to start buying. Two two side I don't know. What's the saying? Two sides of the same coin. Whatever. Whether you use fair value gap or you use candles to identify where price is going to pull back to. Um, but this is where I would look for price to pull back to keep buying. This one has already been mitigated. This one has not. All right. And would you say GA, Elfie?
Yes, please.
GBP. Delaney, did that make sense? I'm sorry. I meant to ask you to GBP, AUD. All right. GA. Um, and had a shift of structure here. See what this is doing. Hold on a second. Hold on, Elfie. Let me analyze the analyzation. Different structure. Okay. Go back to a premium zone and then shift the structure. Okay. And now we have the pullback to the 88. And let's go to the 4-hour. So based on the 4-hour, it's looking like it's selling. Okay. Broke structure here. Broke structure here. All right. So it looks like we had a broken structure here. And now we're pulling back to this somewhere to this high in here. All right. So 4-hour structure. We went here, here, and here. That's the current structure. So I would be looking for price to, and it's looking like a strong level of support and resistance right here. Right? So I would be, and price is tapped into this, but I would be looking for price to react somehow from this zone. Let's go to the 1-hour. For it's looking like price may, well, because we're still in bullish structure, I would still be looking for buys, right? There's an imbalance in here. So price could come up there and then start selling, or price could just continue buying up to this zone here. So let me just check the 15-minute. So based on 15-minute structure, we're still in this little structure, this bearish structure here, right? And it's been consolidating on Friday, it consolidated a lot. So price needs to either break this low or break this high. Right now, it's in the middle, it's consolidating. So I would need to see one of the two. If it breaks this low, then you had this push down, you had this pullback, and then you would have this break of structure. So that means if it breaks this low right here without this is still your higher time frame structure, right? So if it breaks this low, this internal low, then you would move your swing high here. And then if price breaks that high, then you look for the pullback and then take it up to that high. So currently it's still in this 15-minute bear structure or even a 1 hour bear structure because price came down, pushed up here. So I would need to see it break this low or this high or this high. Currently it's this one right here or this high first before I would make a decision on what to do.
Can you show where you put, from what point you put that green line on the top or the higher? I think it was the 4 hour or the day. I'm not
Oh,
sure which.
right here was a 4 hour
Yeah,
um
that's a 4 hour demand zone for you.
supply zone. Mm-hmm.
Supply. Yeah.
And if you trade imbalances,
Yeah.
there's your imbalance. Um, but yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can you show that one on the daily, please?
On the daily.
Oh, it's inside that wig. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
And of
you.
course, if you go down in time frame, if you go to the 1 hour, that's going to narrow that zone down a little bit more. But again, you have your 1 hour. I know the
Yeah,
two fair
balance.
value gaps. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then on the 15-minute, pretty much the same thing. Then you have this one up here.
Mhm.
So,
Cool. Thank you.
um, all right. Anything else anybody want to see? Going once, going twice. Go.
Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Kim.
Welcome.
Hey Kim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good stuff. Can we look at Bitcoin actually? Just have
Oh,
a quick look at that.
absolutely.
I
Um,
think it's going to be selling down.
Bitcoin. Let me pass on my trading session. Bitcoin. Here we go. Let's see what the weekly gave. The weekly, okay, that was the last. Let's go to the daily. So it looks like per the daily, I sweep and then price sold off. This was still, I would be looking for price to pull, well, there it is. Um, back into this zone. Um, to possibly continue buying. Let's look at the 4 hour. So we're still in this 4 hour bearish structure. Well, let's do high. Oops. So we had this break of structure here, and then this swing high here. But then we have these internal moves right here. So that's some internal moves there. I'm going to put this right here. So because we're still in bearish structure, I would be looking for this price to pull into this zone and then push back down to here before possibly going in for a buy. And how far down? It could come down a little further. I didn't go down to the 15-minute, but let's see. Moving slow. Oh, it stopped right here. That's what happened. Sorry. Let's go to 30-minute. Okay, here we go. That's been mitigated. So I would be looking for price to possibly come to, what's that? 101,509.
Yeah, that's where I was seeing around the 100K mark and then back up.
Yep,
Makes sense. Yeah.
yep. But yeah, I would definitely look for price to sell from this zone here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you.
you're
Appreciate
welcome,
that.
welcome. Welcome. All right, anything else anybody want to look at? All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.